got it locked on ROADIUM Radio.
Due to circumstances beyond anyone's control, Dr. Dre is in the motherfucking house. So right about now, and I say, yo Steve, are you with me? ICE, are you with me?
Here's a little something about a nigga like me that never should've let me buy tape from Steve. Ice Cube would like to play Dope Shit mixed by Dr. Dre. And since I was a youth, I like Compton. Now I like the motherfucking ROADIUM. Buying a tape or two, that's what the hell I do. You don't like Tony A? Well, fuck you, this is a game, and I'm in it. Ice Cube will fuck you up in a minute with a right, left, right, making you sick. And then you see Tony A is on the mix.
Tony A! Tony A! When you're ready, go.
Welcome back, everyone, to ROADIUM Radio, episode 324. And I want to thank everybody on the live chat, everybody who decided not to be on the live chat, everybody who liked, commented, subscribed, and all those who even disliked. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are still watching, and thank you guys, because this is only made possible because of you. Today I have a very special guest, but before I introduce him, I want to encourage all of you guys that are watching right now. If you know anybody that films, that shoots photography, that shoots movies, or independently, or shoots videos, you're going to want to tune in and recommend this interview, or should I say this conversation, to them, because I believe we can all learn from each other. Other than that, a few weeks ago, once again, we had Julian Torres, the first Mexican ever signed to Death Row Mariachi, not even a rapper. He was signed to Death Row, so much love and respect to him. Make sure you guys tune in for that one. And then we had Ruben Palomares, ex-LAPD officer here, and he shared his testimony. So thank him for that, for coming through. Make sure you guys tap in. And then you guys might have heard of a guy named Norby's. We just had news with Norby's. I actually thought that episode was actually pretty good. If you guys haven't seen it, make sure you guys check it out. But you know what, without further ado, you know what, I'm very, very thankful that my guest is here today. This tour, if you will, documentary just dropped yesterday on Netflix. And I watched it. I loved it. I love the music. We're just going to jump right into it. So please allow me to introduce once again the one and only Rashidi Harper.
Yo,
how you doing, brother?
What's up? I'm doing great, man. It's good to see you.
Likewise. You know what? I need to bring this up because this is important. The first time and the only time you were here was in 2021. So that's already 2 years ago.
Yep.
That was March 10th. Episode 142, and we're already at, what did we say, 324?
324.
Yeah, 324.
Congratulations, man. That's
Thank
amazing.
You. And I want to thank you for coming through and chopping it up with us, and not only chopping it up with us, but also schooling us on everything that you're doing. The last time you were here, we actually promoted the Hip Hop Uncovered. And it was I believe, was it a 5-part or 6-part docuseries?
6-part docuseries for FX that is still streaming on Hulu.
Okay. And I met somebody that was on there, and I walked up to him and I said, hey, we have a mutual friend. And he said, who's that? And I said, Rashidi Harper. You know who that was?
No.
Big U. I saw him, I want to say maybe about 2 weeks ago. We went to go see my good friend MC Magic, Baby Bash, Little Rob, but the Dog Pound was there headlining, and he was there. And I had recognized him, and I just said, okay, this is my shot. Let me go up to him. And then I said, would you like to come on my platform and just chop it up? And he said, yeah. But he left before I was able to get his contact.
So, well, I'll be happy to put y'all in touch.
Yeah, I would love to.
That's my brother right there.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Most definitely. So now, from your opinion, how well did that docuseries go for you?
Hip Hop Uncovered?
Hip Hop Uncovered.
I mean, it went extremely well for us. It was the first project for my company, the 51B. My partners, Malcolm Spellman and Obi Okoye and Tammy Diadio. It went great, man. Like a lot of people saw it and appreciated the depth and the story. You know, a lot of people heard stories they had never heard before. So I think it went well. And quite frankly, it's the project that got me the Kevin Hart and Chris Rock project.
Yes, yes, and we're eventually going to get to that because I'm excited to talk about that because there was so many comedians. Because I was raised with a father that not only taught me music, film, but also comedy, and we're going to get into that. But now, as far as that docuseries, me being an old school guy, I still collect Blu-rays. Will that ever be available on hard copy?
I'm not sure, but I certainly hope so because it is pretty much now a piece of history that should be preserved. And I'm not clear on what the deal with the streaming of it on Hulu, like when that ends or if that ever ends. But you're going to make me ask that question now. I'm going to find out and text you.
And that's one thing that I wanted to ask you. If people wanted to watch it today, maybe they never heard of it until right now, how can they see it?
Well, if they want to watch it today, they can go to Hulu and just search Hip Hop Uncovered, and they'll find it in there. Yeah.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, I definitely recommend, if you guys have not seen it, definitely check it out because that's a different side of this element, of these 4 elements of hip hop that a lot of us never knew, that these men were behind the scenes, you know, funding
and women.
And women. So I learned a lot, and I saw a lot of things that, once again, heard a lot of things that I didn't know, like how did this happen, how did this happen, how did this happen, and it's all in there. You know.
Yeah, we were lucky. We had, you know, Trick and Deb Antony and Bimmy Antony and Big U and Haitian Jack, and they were ready to sort of tell their stories, which you know, if you know anyone who's from the streets, telling stories in a public space is just not what happens typically, you know. And even when we were making the series, it was hard to even get pictures of them because they were just like, man, we grew up in an era we weren't really taking pictures like that. You know what I mean? Like, except for the ones, you know, when you're at the party and you got the big backdrop and, you know, everybody do the, you know what I mean?
Probably
like
the
maybe
mink coat.
a few of those, you know, but mostly they weren't taking pictures of what was happening in the way that we do now, you know?
Yeah, because today, let's be honest, everyone is picture happy.
Yeah.
You know, posted on TikTok, posted on Instagram, Twitter, etc. You know, but that was a really good, once again, docuseries, Hip Hop Uncovered. Definitely check that out. What was one thing about that documentary that and I'm kind of just giving people a recap from the last episode, that you might have learned from somebody's story that maybe you didn't know, like you got a little bit more than what you expected?
I think when I think about Hip Hop Uncovered, I think about the day I interviewed Trick. Like, I think it was the first day we interviewed, and we were just talking, and he really opened up and talked about the time when he was, I believe, 12 years old and tried to kill himself.
Oh, wow.
And I just didn't expect him to say anything like that and be so open with us. But he was speaking from his heart, and that's one thing that I try to do in my work is to just allow people the space to express what's on their heart, you know, and to let them feel comfortable and know that as a filmmaker, I'm going to take care of them. You know what I mean? I'm going to serve the story. I'm going to, serve the story the best that I can. And whatever question I asked that led to that answer, I was not expecting that answer to come, you know? And it was a beautiful thing, because I think what I love about the series is the idea that, you know, we're here on this earth and we're all ever evolving and changing as we grow through life. And the series sort of talks about how hip hop grew, but also how each of the characters grew in their lives. You know, you're not the same person you were when you were 19 or 29, and neither am I, you know? And so if everything goes well in life, you know, we all grow and mature and become the people that, you know, maybe our parents always dreamed that we could be. And that's what each of them did.
Yeah. You know, now let me ask you this. Let's just say there's somebody out there that's learning film or that's doing film or that's doing a documentary, videos, etc. Anything with the camera. How long did it take for you guys to finish an entire docuseries like Hip Hop Uncovered?
Well, that Hip Hop Uncovered, because it was 6 1-hour long episodes, it was basically 6 hours of television. It took a little over 2 years, I want to say. I feel like the first time, well, when we first started filming, we hadn't even quite finished the deal, or maybe we finished the deal, but like money wasn't sent out yet, wasn't allocated to us yet. And Nipsey Hussle passed away. And when that happened, I spoke to Big U, who, you know, Big U mentored Nipsey and helped him get started or elevate his career. And I asked him, you know, I want to be respectful, right?
Yes.
Like the whole thing is like just not being a vulture about the storytelling, you know, and not really like doing the street shit, but like not in a way where it's just like salacious and tacky, you know?
Yeah.
So I was very conscious of his feelings, because that's, to me, Nipsey was a rapper that maybe I had met one time, but like to him, that was his little brother, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I just wanted to be careful about how to approach that. But anyway, I asked if he was comfortable with shooting if we get started. And he was like, yeah, let's get started. And the first thing that was happening was they were putting a memorial together at the store, and they had to make, at the Marathon store on Slauson and Crenshaw, and they had to make sure that all the hoods could come there and be safe as they paid their respect. So there was this whole intricate thing of, you know, leaders from different sets, you know, having discussions with each other and coming to terms on what day would work and everything would be cool and people could come and safely pay their respects. And I thought all that was like super interesting. So the first day we filmed was the day of Nipsey's memorial. The one for the hood, not the like bigger one that was later.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now here's another question that maybe, or once again, somebody that's filming would probably ask. To set up for an interview, say we're waiting for we'll just say Big U.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take to set up before before he gets there? That okay, once he gets here, we get a mic test, then we start shooting. How long does it take to set up?
It depends on what the setup is. I think for Big U on that series, we had sort of a big, sort of ambitious thing. I had this idea where I wanted, you know how there's like in the mob movies, there's like a back room type vibe. Like initially, I thought I was going to do that type of thing for everyone. And I started with Big U, and that probably took about, I don't know, 4 hours to set up, maybe 5 before he came in.
Yeah.
You know, and there's lots of lighting and just equipment moved around and testing, and it's multiple angles. So the lighting might look one way if the camera's here, but if the camera's over here, the lighting hits, it's like it hits different. So you got to just adjust and make sure everything's great. So I would say, I think it was something like maybe 4 hours or whatever, like or a little more to load in. You know,
right.
Load in and get everything. You know, the equipment, all the stuff.
And from as far as angles are concerned, would you guys use about 3 different cameras?
On that one, yeah, I used. It might have been 4. I know. At that time, I know I wanted. I just was tired in docs where it's just like the wide shot, and then it's close up. There's the wide shot, then it's close. Like I didn't want that. I wanted more options in the edit. And so I knew it was a minimum of 3. And then I had my boy, Thomas Trail was on set, and he had like a smaller DSLR, but it was 4K. And I just was like, hey, put this up. Let's imagine this was a surveillance type image. And so we got like a super high angle. He was up on the ladder. And I wound up having 4 angles pretty much for everyone, which is not, I remember the people, the people who were our partners on that project, a great company called Lightbox, they were just like, what is this dude doing? Like, this is not documentaries, what he's asking for, know? And I was pushing the boundaries a little bit for their comfort zone, I think they expected something a little more traditional, and why I'm here in this space is for sure not to be traditional. Like, I'm here to express and try to push the boundaries forward visually and storytelling wise, and just do things that feel good from my perspective, from through my lens of how I see the world,
Yeah. Recently, we have been filming, and I wanted to try something new. Like what you said, the main one and then the side angle, the main one, the side angle. I told my boy with the side angles, do me a favor, bro. Don't put that one in the stand. Just hold it. Mm-hmm. He goes, well, are we going to stabilize it, when we edit it? I said, we may not. And he was like, well, I don't want to see you move. I don't give a damn. Hold it. Mm-hmm. If you decide to move this way, then it moves this way. Cool. Mm-hmm. I just want something different. So he edited it. He didn't like it. So what I said, I'm going to send you a movie. And according to the documentary about this movie, Steven Spielberg shot it all handheld, which was Schindler's List. Mm-hmm. He said, I just wanted it to look like I'm walking behind the guy. Mm-hmm. And I kind of wanted something that for just a side angle a little bit, so I'm trying to do something different. I didn't go to no film school, but I know what I like to see.
Yeah, and I think that's what directing is. I don't think you need to go to film school necessarily. I think it's about, do you have a vision, and can you explain and express your vision, and then can you execute your vision?
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
Dope. Yeah. Okay, so now that came out. I don't know if I'm jumping up ahead, but you had actually something to do with a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
This was the Rams and Cincinnati, right? Super Bowl? I think it was.
Was it the Bengals?
Yeah.
All I remember is the Rams won.
The Rams won.
That's all I remember.
And probably the greatest, in my opinion. Maybe, no, I can't say the greatest, because to me, Prince was the greatest. Okay. When it was Indianapolis played Chicago. Mm-hmm. And Prince sang Purple Rain, and it rained. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That was amazing. So the Rams playing the Bengals, and Dr. Dre, Snoop, 50, Eminem, etc. were the halftime show. Yeah. That one right there, man, that one gave me goosebumps, bro. Like, and I found out later that you were there.
Yeah, so I did a Super Bowl commercial for Beats by Dre. It's called Made in LA, mm-hmm. and it was featuring Dr. Dre narrating and actually being in the commercial. And yeah, that was a great time. I got to work with a longtime friend, cinematographer Malik Saeed, who shot Belly and many other awesome things. Like, he worked with Stanley Kubrick on Eyes Wide Shut. Like, he just is a real filmmaker. And I got to work with him, and that was a lot of fun, because we had worked together with Hype Williams like early on in our careers, in our 20s, in the projects in the Bronx and the projects in Brooklyn, like just with Bolex cameras, and you know what I mean? Like at the very beginning of our careers.
Would you say, speaking about Hype Williams, the only reason why I found out was because after watching every video, Hype Williams. Mm-hmm. Would you say that maybe he elevated the rap video for everyone? Because it almost seemed like he took it to a whole new level.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no question. He elevated the style, the wardrobe, the makeup, the lighting, everything. His whole vision. I think he just, when I first came into the music video business, all of our videos used to be, the rap videos, they used to be more or less pretty grimy, and they were low budget, and sometimes you felt that way. I mean, there were a few that weren't that way, like directors like Lionel Martin and Paris Barclay. They had, work that was nice
Yeah.
and perfect for that time. But I think Hype built and brought a younger perspective and a more artistic perspective than people were bringing. And then he just kept working and working and elevating,
Yeah.
you know? So, and that's what the best filmmakers do. You know, it doesn't matter what your work looks like when you first start, you're just starting, you know? You
Yes.
want to try to build and figure out the things that you like and that you don't like, and the things that you love and what you're aspiring to make, you know? And I think Hype did that very, very well, for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. So the commercial comes out. You're at the Super Bowl. Let's be honest. You saw the halftime show. I was bumping it at home.
So yeah, let me back up. I mean, I got to go to the rehearsals. Like, I didn't just go to the Super Bowl. Because I've worked with Dr. Dre and we have a relationship and a friendship, I was able to tag along to the rehearsals. So I probably went to like maybe 3 of the rehearsals before the week of the Super Bowl, and just was watching the run-throughs. Actually, I might have seen 4, because I went to one they did in a week or more or longer in Santa Monica in an airport hangar, and I got to like one of the last one of those, and then the next ones I went to were all at SoFi. And watching that team put that show together was like, it was just amazing. The producer of that show was a guy named Jesse Collins, who's a big producer, and the choreographer was Fatima Robinson, who's got a crazy resume. And who else was on that team? Dave Free, who's Kendrick Lamar's guy, the guys over at PG Lang. Now, they were all there just working and like obsessing over every single detail. Like every single detail, you know, they were just all over it. And so that part alone was fun to see and experience. Now, the Super Bowl itself, getting to go to that, I mean, my whole life I've been wanting to go to a Super Bowl. And and I'm from here in Los Angeles, and so to go to the Super Bowl in Los Angeles with the Rams playing, with Dre, Snoop, 50, Mary, Eminem, Anderson .Paak, I don't think I forgot anybody. I don't remember who else, but them as Kendrick Lamar, you know what I mean? Like, it was
Amazing, bro.
From my era, I mean, it was
It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Once-in-a-lifetime thing, man. It was beautiful. It's beautiful. And what else happened? I was in the penthouse suite with Busta. I remember Busta was there. Director Gary Gray, who made Straight Outta Compton and Friday. I mean, we watched the game together. Like, it just was like, Big Boy was there. Like, it was just a dope, fun experience that I'll never forget.
Okay, well, I'm going to say I'm jealous, bro.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pour it on. But like, I can't help. It really was. I couldn't believe it. That and the Rams won, so it was fun.
And the Rams won, and they were because I know football, and they were losing, but they came back. So they came back. So much love to the Rams, even though I'm a Cowboys fan, but much love to the Rams. But okay, so now since then, I don't know if I skipped anything in between. What has Rashidi been working on before we get to the headliners only?
Sure. Well, like I mentioned earlier, I have a company called the 51B. Been spending a lot of time and energy building that company up, and working on just projects that moved me. Like, one thing that I did that didn't really get as much play as I would have liked it to is I did a small documentary for the Museum of Fine Arts in San Francisco about a fashion designer named Patrick Kelly, and it's called Patrick Kelly, An American in Paris, and it's on YouTube now. You could look for that and check it out, but like, no one knows about this. I'm not going to say no one, but people outside of fashion don't tend to know about this black fashion designer from Mississippi that wound up in Paris and took Paris by storm in the 80s.
Wow.
Like, took it by storm. And that's a doc that I'm really proud of, that didn't have like the big platform to give the big push like some of my other work, but it's work that I'm really proud of.
And when did that drop?
That dropped, I did that in 21, at the end of 21. I did it. I was so burnt out after doing Hip Hop Uncovered. Like, I had to take a minute, you know. I just didn't have it in me after that. Like, I left a lot of myself in that project, and it took me some time to recover and just, you know, want to film again. And that was something I did like later in the year.
Now this one that's on YouTube, how long is it?
30 minutes, 24, 28 minutes, something like that.
Now, if somebody's probably wondering and asking and say, you know what, I got a good idea. I want to do a documentary on this person who was in the war, and I believe his voice ought to be heard. Is that something like? I guess I'm asking a question for them. Is there a company that you go get possibly like a budget from, or is this something that comes out of your pocket? Is it independently done?
I think you can do whatever you know. Basically, you find the resources, whatever resources you have available to you, or you find out who maybe there are grants, I believe, and different funds like filmmaker funds, or Film Independent is one organization that I think is very helpful for filmmakers. You do that, or maybe you have a couple uncles that want to invest in your documentary career. You know?
Do you enter your stuff into film festivals?
I haven't lately. I did early on. I haven't lately because everything that I've done has been connected to some sort of distribution, you know? But I can see a world in where like what I'm going to be doing now. I just shot a short film, actually, a narrative short film that I'm working on right now. And like, if I can get all my ducks in a row, that's something I probably would like to submit to a film festival. Because I like film festivals. I like, you know, being able to go someplace and like everybody there is into filmmaking, and they're kind of a nerd about it, and they watch all these whatever films speak to them, they go and see, and you hear the discussions afterwards, and you hear about what went into making them, and you learn from other filmmakers. I think that's really great, and it doesn't feel as competitive as just Hollywood is. You know, Hollywood is, you know, everybody's out trying to like get the bag and like make the project, and that's cool. But it's also nice to just appreciate the art and the work and what it takes to actually make things. You know what I mean? Like, we just maybe take it for granted. We pick up our phones and watch whatever we watch, or on whatever streaming service we use, and it's like, yo, man, a lot of work goes into making things. I don't remember if I answered your question earlier, but it was something like 2 years before that it took us to make Hip Hop Uncovered, and that's just once we got the money to make it. There were another 3 or 4 years before that where we were developing it, pitching it. People told us no, changing the pitch, going back out. People told us no, adding another element, like, you know what I mean? So in the making, it came out in 2021, but like we probably started working on it in 2015, 2016.
Wow.
So it's a long haul sometimes. Most times, really.
You mentioned film festivals, and you mentioned films. You know, I guess going to film festivals are fun, rubbing elbows pretty much with other producers, directors, etc. To me, that sounds like fun. It really, truly does. Like, I don't mind hanging out with other successful producers. The conversations are different from the people that have made it and the people that are just haven't. You know, I don't mind going into the room and being a fly on the wall and just listening, hopefully getting something that will help me elevate my game. Then bring it back home, start working, and start, okay, this is the way they think. This is how they won. you know, and I've always encouraged everyone, man, you know, pursue your dreams. But I do say this: if you're going to pursue your dreams, at least have some talent to back up those dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes it takes time to build that talent.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think the first thing is the desire, you know?
Yes.
And then you make the thing and people either tell you it sucks and you need to keep working, or they tell you, oh, it's pretty good, but what about this? I mean, it's all, I look at filmmaking as a journey and a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, I've literally been doing this my whole adult life and some of my youth, you know, because I started as an actor before I became a filmmaker. But to me, this has been a lifelong commitment. You know what I mean? And what that means is when things aren't going your way, I'm not going to try to like get a job at the post office. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, for me,
Yes.
I didn't approach it that way. I am very much an all-in type of person.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just gonna be and have been relentless and persistent and like see it in my head, and I'm gonna just keep going until it happens, you know?
See, that's encouraging for me, because there's been times like, I'm going back to work. I'll be honest with you.
But you're a creative, and you always have been. Now, the thing is, you're also a man, a family man who understands that there are responsibilities in life.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And, you know, everybody's different. Nobody has the same path. You know, like my approach was the approach that worked for me. Only I know what it was like when I and my wife, when I had things not going my way.
Right, right.
You know, and I still had all of those responsibilities.
Yeah.
You know? So, but again, it's what I committed to, and it's what she committed to when she married me. Like, that's just all
That's
a part
dope.
of the package, right?
Yes.
And so what's been great is to come out of those moments and get those wins, man. Like, those wins,
Yeah.
those wins will keep you going.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Even if they were 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
You still remember what that win felt like.
Yes.
You know?
You know who was an encouragement when I first met them, and I believe I shared this with you the first time you were here, but for those of you guys that didn't get to hear our first conversation, we were signed to Disney, me and my rapper friend, Heisey Crawford Wilkerson, and we did one video with a guy named Ian Fletcher, I believe from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
We paid him like 25 grand to do our video. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not trying to diss him, but I thought it was a piece of crap.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like an old-ass Godzilla movie, so it looked like. And then they brought in two guys. And they told, we want you to come meet these two brothers that just got out of film school or something like that. They're kind of younger than you guys, maybe 2 years younger. And my first thought, because they were younger than me, what the hell do those guys know? And we walk in, and they're the Hughes brothers, Albert and Alan. And they did our first video. They go, oh, we got this this thought for this video, this thought. So we filmed it at Venice Beach.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Sam Perkins was playing for the Lakers. They invited him in. He had a cameo. Easy was there. Quick was there. AMG, Second Tender. All the homies were all there.
Mm-hmm.
We filmed it, and that video was so damn dope.
Yeah. Okay.
Then they said, we're going to do another one for you guys. Of course, the price kept going up. But the company was paying, it's cool, whatever. You know, even though it was recoupable and they take it out of our budget. But we did a song called Sitting in the Park. We filmed it at Echo Park, and it was just dope. But I always asked, even back then in my early 20s, hey, when are you guys going to edit this? Oh, we're going to go to the studio. Can I come? And my rapper friend never cared. I went to all the editing sessions, and they said, what's right here? We're going to change the sky. And they changed the sky because it was day. We're going to make it look like the sun is going down. And that's the first time that I saw, like, if you will, film magic.
Yeah. And this was Alan and Albert who
Alan
you were
and
sitting
Albert.
in the edit sessions with?
Yes.
That's amazing. I mean, that's a gift. And I think that's the thing, right? Is being curious,
Yeah.
you know, and understanding when there's an opportunity for you to learn something, right?
Yes.
I mean, that I used to do a similar thing with, I think the first person who I went into a color timing session with might have been Lionel Martin. But I know for sure after that, I was in any job I worked on with Hype Williams. I used to be his assistant director.
Wow.
I would sit in those color timing sessions and just watch him and the colorists work. And I think all of those things were insightful, information for me to just taken hold until it was my turn to use and execute it.
Right.
The other thing I want to say is I probably was a PA on a couple of Hughes Brothers videos.
Oh, really?
Back then, yeah. I can't remember anymore. It was so long ago. But I remember working on a couple of their videos back then, and I remember being around the same age as them, but I was in college at the time.
Oh, okay.
And my big thing was like, man, if I didn't go to college, I'd be out here directing just like these dudes. But like that wasn't my journey and wasn't my path. And now Alan Hughes is a friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I've had some of my footage that I shot in his film Defiant Ones, or he was inspired by a film that I made that did not come out for public consumption, but there's a film that I made. I don't remember if I mentioned it last time at Coachella in 2012 when Dre and Snoop came together for the first time and they had the Tupac hologram. Like we have a whole documentary about that's just in Dre's archives, you know? And so my point in bringing that up is like before Defiant Ones, Alan saw that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And, you know, it's like, I think we just all as creative people try to inspire each other, you know, and keep things moving.
You know, one thing that I'm happy for, because today everybody talks about receipts. You got any receipts for that story? Yes, I got over 30 pictures with Alan and Albert, bro. So, yes, I still have all my pictures. Thanks to my manager, rest in peace, Steve Viano. This guy would take pictures. And now he was like, hey, Tony, get in the middle. He's like, hug him. And I was like, Steve, come. And now I'm thankful.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that he did. And I'll share with you a story so Albert calls me one day, Hughes, and he tells me, hey, bro, he goes, well, we're going to be working on a movie called Menace to Society. And I was like, okay. He goes, I'm going to mail you a script. And I still remember the script, the covers were red. And I said, well, what is this for? And he goes, you only have like one line. And I said, well, okay, what do you mean? I only have one line. He goes, I want you to be in it. We're going to give a cameo. So I said, what's a cameo? Because when I think cameo, I'm thinking Shake Your Pants, you know, the song. And he goes, we're going to give you a cameo. So remember the part where Homeboy takes, I think his 5.0, and he gets the license plates redone, but the mechanic comes out and he goes like this, brings him in, and he goes, I changed that. And he goes, shut up. I was supposed to be that guy. And the day that they were filming, they called me and told me, hey, man, you know, we're going to be filming at 3:00. And I'm going to be honest with you, bro. Here's where I'm a damn idiot. Because in my mentality and being young and having a little bit of money, always thought that these opportunities were going to come back around. So I figured, I'm going to finish working on this track because Kid Frost called me and told me he wants me to work on a new song for him. Kid Frost was hot, so I decided not to go. And I could have been part of a historical movie.
And that's what it is to be young. You know what I mean? Yes. You don't know. You don't know because you don't know, you know?
Yeah.
That's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, and honestly, man, there was a lot of guys, and I won't mention their names, that were rappers that were butthurt because they didn't get asked to be in the movie, and they filmed a lot of their videos. They were like, oh, I was supposed to be in it. And I don't know why he put too short. Oh, because he's too short, you know. But that was a dope movie, man. I was happy. You know, as a matter of fact, Alan just recently activated his Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's back on now.
Okay.
So, and I've been messaging him, man, because I want to bring him in because, like I said, I've been knowing him since he was 20 years old. I mean, well, at least I could say I knew him then.
Sure.
Maybe he might still remember me. But I would like to bring him in. But as far as hard copies, when I was asking you earlier, I bought the Defiant Ones, a hard copy, on Blu-ray. And I learned a lot from that one as well.
What are the extras on that Blu-ray? Do you remember?
You know what? I didn't watch those, but I watched everything because Jimmy Iovine's story is also amazing. I didn't know either. You know, now the Dre thing I knew, but I'll tell you what really spoke to me and what hurt me about Dre, and I can't wait to see him so I can tell him. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? To me, I'm a student of DJing, bro. So when he started, like, he goes, yeah, I had a friend that invited me over, and he had a mixer and a turntable, and I started, quick. to me, that's music to my ears. Because us DJs, we talk like that. We can be like, quack, 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 pass it on, and then that's what the other guy would be like, quack, 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 and that's DJ talk to us.
Right.
So when I heard him DJ talk, I'm like, oh shit, okay. And then he goes, and then I did a song called Dr. Dre in Surgery. And then we're going, Dr. Dre, Dr. Dre, Dr. Dre, 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 Dre. And I'm like, that's my shit. And he said, and it was kind of whack. And that was a punch in the stomach for me because I would play that record over here, grab the same scratch and imitate it. That was like my school right there. So for him to say that it was whack, I'm like, okay, when I see you, I got a bone to pick with you, bro. Because that shit is not whack. So
I hope I could witness this conversation.
oh, man, dude. I'm like, when he said that, I was like, he just didn't say that. And I had Lonzo here, and I told him that story, and he was like, it wasn't whack. And I, well, you're not saying that because it was on your label.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But, yeah, bro. But that one really hurt me because I'm like, okay, he's finally going to talk about his DJs, you know? But that was my shit, bro. So,
what was your favorite part about DJing?
well, I had a very strict mother, so Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, I couldn't go out. So I stayed home practicing, and I used to try to create a vibe in my room. So I think at the beginning stages, it was that. And I had a beacon light, so I would turn off all my lights. And I had 2 beat up ass turntables, but I could do so much with them. I had a realistic mixer from Radio Shack, and I tried to create a vibe. And I used to always say to myself, one day it's going to be my turn to play. And little by little, I started meeting some of the K-Day mix masters. And I'm going to say this, it wasn't Joe Cooley or Tony G. It was some of the other cats. And I wanted to test my skills against them. And I say this respectfully. 2 different guys came over 2 different times, and he couldn't hang with me.
Wow.
They couldn't hang with me. So what I did, I told my mom, I want to enter a DJ battle of the DJs. This was probably my highlight. It was March 24th, 1988. And I had my set ready to go. And my mom said, you're not going. And I was like, why? Because you're not going to go. And you know what the grand prize was? A trophy about this big and a $50 check. And I said, and you know what? I said, I'm going to win that damn thing. So I told my brother, hey, sneak on my turntables on my mixer. I want to pretend I'm going to bed. Our window was broken. All we had was a curtain, so I snuck out of that bastard. My friend met me in the alley, and I drove there. I had just some regular dirty-ass jeans and a white T-shirt. And then when it was my turn, I tore it up. And then the K-Day was there. The DJs, I mean, the mix masters were the judges. So I had to be there because K-Day was going to be there. So, and then what happened was they said, okay, you guys are going to go again. I hadn't practiced for any other set. They just said we were going to go one time and they were going to give us a minute. So I was always real quick. So I was like, okay, just go with whatever you practice. I got Eric B. and Rakim. I know you got Soul. And then I did, my second one was Bang Zoom by Howie T and The Real Roxanne. And then the last one was Hashim, which It's Time.
That was always my favorite record. Yeah.
Yes.
That was so fun to mix.
And I won that shit.
Yes.
So what I did, I snuck back in my house. I put the trophy on the table and I left my mom the $50 check and I went to bed.
That's some real. How old were you then?
I was probably late 18.
Yeah. Teenage.
Yeah.
Teenage.
Yeah.
And I know you stuck your chest out when you left that check
dude,
on the table
bro,
too.
Okay. Because I have a big family, so I was sharing a room with 3 brothers. Okay. So we had bunk beds, and my little brother was under me, and I was on top, and I was like sleeping like this, like. I was nervous. Number 1, I was thankful that I won, but number 2, I knew I was probably going to get an ass beaten in the morning.
Because you broke the rules.
Yes. So, don't break the rules, but that one felt good. I just had to, bro. And you know what? I still have the video.
Of the
Yes.
the set?
Yes. About 10 years ago, one of my friends contacted me, and he goes, hey, bro, you know what I still have of you? And I was like, what's up? The video of the battle. And I only knew of one battle, because I've entered other ones, but that one was the one, and I knew he was there. And I said, don't lie to me. He goes, no, I still have it. And you know what he also still has?
What?
A lot of people don't know that Dr. Dre, NWA, except Ice Cube, Yella, Arabian Prince, and Easy performed right here in Carson at the place where I won my battle. It was called San Marico Hall. off of Avalon and 223rd, and he still has the footage of that concert that has never been seen by anybody.
Damn, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see your mix, your battle win,
Yeah.
and I'd love to see that NWA footage. That's dope.
Yeah, I have no problem showing you mine, but that one, I just have to give him a call, and he'll probably bring the VHS tape handcuffed to his wrist, bro.
Yeah,
So
as he should.
yeah. So I don't even know if Dre even knows that, because the only time that I ever seen NWA was the same year, and I believe it was in March of '88 at Anaheim Celebrity Theater. This is where the stage would actually turn. And who opened up was Everlast when he was doing Never Missing a Beat before he did Jump Around. He looked more like Vanilla Ice back then.
This is Everlast when he was with Rhyme. He was with Rhyme Syndicate, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And then the DOC opened up, so I got to hear the DOC with, his real voice.
Mm-hmm.
Then King T came out. Mixmaster Spade was on stage. DJ Pooh was on the drum, and DJ Aladdin was on the turntable. So when I heard him rock the bell, I was like, oh my God, I got like mad goosebumps,
Yeah.
And then they filmed a live video for that song "Act a Fool" for King T there, and I told King T the story when he was here. So that was like off my bucket list, And then NWA came out first. Dre ran. Yella was on the turntables, and I was sharing this with Yella. And then after that, Ice-T came out. He was headlining, and they were promoting that Power album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With one of the best album covers ever.
Come on. The backside of it.
Yeah, front and back.
Yeah,
yeah. That special times, man. I love that era and that time in hip hop, and maybe it's just also because we were young at that time, but it felt so special and so unique at the time, and so much fun and so much innovation and so many great memories about around the music and the culture, and just it being one of those things that just felt like it was like a secret to just a certain group of people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And if you knew about it, you was super cool.
Yes. Okay, now I want to ask you a question because I want to jump right into it, but I want to start it off with this. So I've seen Headliners Only, Kevin Hart, Chris Rock. Is it safe to call it a documentary?
Yeah, it's a documentary.
Okay, because it's about, if I'm correct, 4 shows that they did together.
Yep.
The last one ending in Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The first thing that really, really attracted me to that, watching it, was the music. First song, Ghostface.
Yeah.
Okay, now the reason why I bring that up too, it tripped me out when I saw it, because tomorrow I'm gonna go see Ghostface and Raekwon perform.
Oh, where are they playing tomorrow?
At the Novo right here.
Novo. Oh man.
Yes. Now my boy DJ Thorough from Harlem, he calls me up and he just tells me, "Yo, you need to come down. Blah blah blah. I'm DJing for Ghostface and blah blah blah." This guy DJs for everyone. Cameron, he hosts a show called This Is 50 in New York. So he said, "I want you to come through, VIP list, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "All right, cool." I met Raekwon a couple of times, but I never met Ghostface. So when I first heard Ghostface, the very first song, I'm like, "Okay, this shit's gonna be good. This shit's gonna be good." So I mean, but it was a lot of East Coast music, obviously, because it took place in the East Coast. I guess my question is, why, or unless I missed it, did she use current music? Because it looked like a lot of it was based around the 90s music.
Yeah. My intention at first was to only play New York music, like 90s hip hop. It just felt like that would be the right move, is what I thought,
Yeah.
So I started off with that in mind. And then I and Daytona 500 is one of my favorite records with Raekwon and Ghostface, and Capadonna's on that record too. But the energy of the song is just, it just makes you feel a certain way.
Yes.
And so I always wanted the main title to have that song in it, and I gave it as a reference, but I never knew if we'd really be able to get the song, like a lot of times you might pick music and then you could just go too crazy, and like you can never afford all the music and stuff like that. And to Kevin Hart's team at Heartbeat, which is the production company that we partnered with on the film, they you know, I mean, we fought a little back and forth here and there, but in the end, they really got me the music that I wanted and that I felt impacted the film, because I made it hand in hand. Like, I was telling the story, but I was also trying to inject this feel to it, and I wanted it to have a very New York feel. Like, I spent a lot of time in New York in my 20s, in the 90s, and had a lot of great experiences and listened to a lot of music. So ultimately, I started getting away from 90s hip hop and just realized, you know, I just want a plethora of black music. Like, people now, if you think about what black music is, it's just hip hop is so dominant. That's all we really think about. But then I was thinking about rock. I was thinking about pop. You know what I mean? Like, and I just started really just putting songs that I liked. Like, one of the songs I have is from a band from London called Block Party, and there's a song called Helicopter, and that's like a alternative rock type record, but it has a certain energy and a feel to it. I put Tyler, the Creator, in there, and he's not from New York, he's from here, you know, but he is one of the more current artists that is in the film, that I felt like he just had music that spoke to me and felt like it should be in the film. And then Coast Contra is another group that's current, that's in the film. I put their song Legacy in there, and I just love that group because they remind me of the groups of my youth who cared so much about rhyme schemes and lyricism and what it was that they had to say, what message they were delivering. You know what I mean? So I had to put them in it. And then my favorite placement was probably, that I super never thought I would get, but I just put it in anyway, was sort of like a B-side obscure record by Prince called All the Critics Love You in New York.
Of course, that's my favorite artist. I believe, okay, I want to say, I believe it was off the 1999 album, or if not, the Controversy album.
1999 album.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the album.
Yeah, when I heard that, I'm like, okay, I feel that.
Yeah.
Bro,
yeah.
Prince is just a fucking genius, bro.
It's Prince. Anytime you get to like work with Prince or use a Prince record, you just want to use it, you know?
Yes.
And shout out to Matt Harter. He was the music supervisor on the project along with me. He cleared all of the songs, and you know, shout out to the team at Heartbeat for, you know, raising that budget up a little bit, so we can get the songs.
You know, I wanna say something right now, and I'm gonna repeat it one day if I ever get the honor to be able to sit with Alan or Albert here. But when they were filming Menace to Society and then he started editing, they called me, Tone, we need some music. And then I said, like, what do you need? Well, we got this car scene, and you know what popped into my mind, because I had sampled it on our album. And I said, who's in it? And he started telling me, it's at night. And I said, Love and Happiness. We got a house party, Atomic Dog. They got a lot of that music from me. And I'll be honest with you, I never said, where's my credit? Because like I was telling you earlier, I just give things away. I do things for free a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so when I heard that music on your doc, I felt it, man. I felt it. I was like, I really like this, and then the music just elevates it. Thank you. You know, I thought it was so dope. But yeah, I had an input on that movie when it came to music. Now, some of the parts that really, really stood out to me, and I don't know if they're in order, and maybe you can elaborate a little bit. And it touched me, the story of Kevin Hart's mother dying, and she didn't want him to know. That one really, really fucked me up, bro.
Yeah. That was a great story told by his brother, Robert, who, you know, the great thing that we got to do in this film was speak to their family members, you know. In Chris's case, we spoke to Tony Rock, who's a comedian that a lot of people know. But we also spoke to his brother Kenny and his brother Jordan. And it was good to hear about Chris Rock from his family's perspective.
Yeah.
And with Kevin, we had his brother Robert, and Robert told us a lot of stories that were just sort of jaw dropping, you know. And the one about the mom was, and just what that struggle looked like while she was sick, was one that stood out and made the film.
Yeah. Now, when you guys showed a picture of her, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought to myself, that can't be her. And I'm going to say why. Because Kevin Hart is identical face to his mother.
So when we were in New York, we did the premiere in New York on Friday. And I remember when those two pictures played back to back, I remember they just sort of like laughed because they couldn't believe how much he looks like his mother.
I at first I thought like, this can't be a joke. They look exactly alike. But no, that was a touching story for me. And then the other one was when Chris Rock talks about his father, but he gave a statistic that blew me the hell away when he said, you know, back then, I forgot what years he meant, when his father passed away in his 50s, he said, black men were all dying in their 50s.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I remember I pressed pause right there. And I thought about that. And I'm like, wow, I wonder how it would, because my dad passed away in his 80s. Mm-hmm. And I miss him greatly. My mother passed away at 63, and I miss her greatly. But for him to share that and say, you know, black men were dying in their 50s. Bro, if I have a hard enough time even talking about them, I don't know how it would be if they would have passed away sooner.
Yeah.
So I really felt that, man. It was touching for me.
Thank you. Yeah, I think one thing that I was trying to do with the film is make sure that we humanized Chris and Kevin. I think as fans, we all sort of, and people that live in this country, we sort of look at celebrity, it's like this thing, this bright light, and we imagine how great their lives are at all times, you know? And the fact of the matter is they're human like you and I.
Yes.
They have flaws like you and I. They have struggles like you and I. And we wanted to not only, I mean, we know them as the celebrities and the funny guys,
yes,
like, and we give you that, right? But I think I wanted to go a little deeper, and our team wanted to go a little deeper in the storytelling so that we could humanize them in a way that makes the victory of them getting together on this tour, it gives you some proper context. Like, it didn't have to happen like that for either of them, you know?
Yeah.
And as you know, this is a tough business that we're in. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's very hard and competitive, and there's so many levels to the game. And just when you think you're doing something and it's the biggest thing and whatever, it's like, you know, you find out that everybody's like, yeah, so cool, you did that. What's next? Like, it's always like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, next week, I'm on to the next.
Right. I wanted to ask you something, because at the end, when they were at Madison Square Garden, they were about to go up on stage, I would see Chris Rock talking to Kevin Hart, and he was like, it almost sounded like he was unsure that Dave Chappelle was not going to show up. And they were hoping, is he going to show up? Is he going to show? Was that stage or was that real?
No, that was real. That they wanted him to be there. I mean, I think the real thing is Kevin's been trying to put a tour together with the three of them.
That would be amazing.
I think that's where it all started. And for whatever reason, that was never able to happen. And even this tour in New York was only a few dates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so Kevin had a tour he was working on, Chris had a tour he was working on, and then they sort of came together for this 1 week in New York. And that's basically what the film is based around. It's not the same thing as touring with someone for a whole year necessarily,
right?
But still, the fact that at their level they could come together for multiple shows in a big market like New York speaks volumes to their star power and their ability to pack a house, you know, or an arena, if you will.
Yeah, and then Jay-Z showed up.
Jay-Z did come through. That was great seeing him. Beyonce actually, I mean, we didn't, Beyonce was there. She's not in the film, but she was definitely.
Was there a reason for that?
She just didn't come down to where we were. Basically, I think what happened was Jay-Z came down to visit Kevin, and our cameras were there, so we were able to catch that.
Okay, and now when something of that magnitude is taking place, do you have a lot of people shooting B-roll footage, just trying to catch something funny or catch somebody else walking in?
Yeah, because you don't want to miss a moment, right? So how we did it was we had probably 7 or 8 different cameras, but everybody had different assignments. You know what I mean? Okay. So like there was a unit assigned to Chris, there was a unit assigned to Kevin, there was a unit assigned to just B-roll around the venues. There were units that were sort of like, okay, you're gonna cover this area, like these hallways, and every venue is different, so we had to sort of come up with a fresh plan for every show we went to.
Now, the director, you are there. Dave Chappelle goes up first, Chris Rock goes up second, Kevin Hart goes up last. Okay, where is the director during this whole time? Where are you at?
I've got like a little handheld monitor, and I'm wherever I think the action is. You know, so for that, the action was all on the stage. I was sort of like bouncing between the front of the stage and backstage where you enter onto this, where the artists enter onto the stage.
Yes.
And I'm looking at my monitor, and I'm seeing if I like the shot, and I'm maybe talking to my director of photography, like, hey, go over here, give me a low angle or something, whatever, that type of thing. Right. You know, whatever I think I'm missing.
Now, I'm going to ask a serious question, okay? It's all been serious, but I'm going to kind of put you on the spot. Are you an easy guy to work with?
I think so. I mean, I'm very serious when it's time to work. You know what I mean? Be, yeah. I'm very serious. I take it seriously. But I think as I get older and more experience, I'm pretty experienced, but when I get more experience, I realize I'm so intense that it can affect the vibe. And so sometimes I try to work on my level of intensity or the way I might express what I want. But the truth is, man, I'm just focused. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm just focused, and whatever it is we're doing means everything to me, and like we got to get it right. You know?
You looking at your monitor and you're looking at all the angles. Have you ever had these moments like, what the hell is that? Can you go tell his ass to?
Yeah, I've had moments like that, but like the guy, I work with a cinematographer named Robert Benavidez, who we've known each other for 25 years or so. You know what I mean? Like we used to shoot music videos together. Like we're just, outside of working, we're just really good friends, right? And I never have to say anything like that with him. Like he's someone that I just greatly trust, and he has a beautiful eye, and he's got great taste, and he always knows where to put the camera. Like he's possibly more obsessive than I am, you know, about what he does. So I think we make a good team, and if something like what you mentioned happens, it's usually maybe some younger camera operator that, you know, we have to tell him, we have to like clarify what the aesthetics are.
Right.
You know?
Because I'll be honest with you, when it comes even to production or even to running the podcast or filming, I tell my team, I'm a very hard person to work with, bro. But I will apologize. But if I get pissed off, I'm going to say something, you know, this is not the way we practice. It's not the way you should be. It's, you know, and then after it's all done, okay, we're good. I'm sorry.
You apologize in advance.
Yes, like I'm sorry, but
you know, it's let me tell you a an embarrassing story of what I used to do, right? I've been so intense on sets that I used to, when the frustration level, because production is frustrating. You know, everything doesn't go right all the time. Sometimes they go terribly wrong. And in the moment, it always feels like it means everything.
Right.
And over time, I've learned that it really doesn't mean anything in the scheme of life, right? It's a small moment. But before I knew that, I used to be notorious for kicking trash cans. Like, you know how on sets there'd be trash cans for you to throw your trash away in? And man, one day I did that, and I remember it was on a job I was doing with Snoop. I did a video with Snoop and Corrupt for the soundtrack. I can't remember what the movie was, but I remember Bokeem Woodbine is in it, and the song is called Caught Up. And I remember there was a frustrating moment on set. Something, you know, maybe Snoop wouldn't come out of the trailer, and, you know, somehow they were expecting me to get him out of the trailer. And I was talking to the assistant director, like, bro, that's kind of your job. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right,
whatever.
right.
And we were running out of time. And I remember I just got so frustrated. I kicked this trash can, and I remember it just started curving right. I was like, oh no. And it just kept curving, and then it was heading towards these people that were sitting in these director's chairs, and I was like, fuck. And it just missed them. You know what I mean? Like, just missed them. And my executive producer at the time, she like came up and she pulled me to the side, and she just was like, yo, man, like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I mean, that gives you, and I've never kicked another trash can since then. And because I learned that, you know, you got to try to control your emotions. Like, it does not present a comfortable vibe on the set. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's like, you want to create an environment where people can work and do their best work. And I don't think like any kind of like tyrant behavior
Right.
is really conducive or positive for getting the best out of what you want out of people.
Yeah. Another great part that I really, really enjoyed was the old footage of the Saturday Night Live with Chris Rock, and then how he ended up coming to In Living Color, only did 2 episodes, and then the show was over with. It shows their struggle, you know, but you said we wanted to humanize, I believe that's, and I felt and saw all of that, you know, and then the old footage of Kevin Hart, I thought all that was dope. But one thing that I really enjoyed was when they went back to like these old bars or old comedy stores. And I really, really enjoyed, because they're packed, you know, and because I remember going to the LA Comedy Store right here, I want to say off of Sunset, if I believe, and I saw Jamie Foxx perform when he was still in Living Color. And he did this Al Green routine. It was just amazing. He tore it up. And this Comedy Store, I'm not lying to you, was probably no bigger than this. It was in the back of the actual real Comedy Store where you can go in for free.
Yeah.
So you could fit in maybe 30 people, maybe. And he went in there and tore it up, man.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what that reminded me of. And then I guess Kevin Hart goes up there, he's drinking a Corona, and he's up on stage and he's talking. So I remember everything, bro. So yeah, I really enjoyed seeing that stuff.
That was at a legendary comedy club in New York called the Comedy Cellar.
Okay.
And, you know, everybody who's anybody has been in there, and it's been up for a very long time. And we were fortunate enough. Actually, I heard a story that Kevin insisted that our after party be at the Comedy Store. I'm sorry, not the Comedy Store, the Comedy Cellar in New York. So after we had the premiere, we went to the Cellar, and it was really, really nice. It was cool. And they had, you know, DJ Cypher Sounds?
No,
Cypher Sounds is like a one of those big New York DJs.
I'm surprised I haven't. I'm gonna ask my boy Thorough tomorrow.
Yeah, Cypher Sounds DJ'd it. He's funny. He has a podcast. He was talking about his experience DJing the after party.
Oh, okay.
And it was pretty funny. He's a DJ, and he's also a stand-up comedian.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So now let me ask you this. Was it easy working with Chris and Kevin?
Yeah, I think it was easy enough. You know what I mean? My job was to watch them do their jobs and film them doing their jobs. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that what was hard was juggling the schedules. You know, like Kevin is a very busy guy.
Yeah.
And even though he was doing the shows that week in New York, I mean, he was also doing other things. I remember one thing he did was that I didn't get to film, and I remember I wanted to film it. And now that we've made the film that we made, I see that I didn't really need that.
Okay.
But I remember being like, yo, you're going to dinner with Mark Wahlberg? Like, bro, like, I need to go there and film that. And he was just like, nah.
Oh, really?
It's like, nah, you can't get that. Like, because I guess maybe they were talking business or who knows what it was.
Right.
But, you know, things like that. But I'm saying it was not hard working with them. You know, it was just trying to figure out how to get what I wanted out of them was maybe the hard part, you know?
As a director, and again, I'm asking this question for people that are interested in either they are in the industry or thinking about getting into the industry. Have you ever had to deal with either a certain artist, certain comedian, certain actor that was just like dickheads, to say the least? Like maybe they were just too Hollywood, and
Yeah.
you don't have to say no names, but
Yeah, I mean, what I try to remember is that people are human. People have good days and bad days. You might meet them and be in a situation where they're not as cooperative as you would like them to be.
Right.
But what I try to do is just be professional at all times. And when I'm professional at all times and everybody is behaving in a professional manner, then the job gets done. So I try to look at it like that. And I can't recall any situation where it's gone completely off the rails necessarily, you know? But maybe it's because I block all that stuff out. I like to just remember the good stuff,
all right,
you know?
All right. Now here's another one that you're probably going to plead the fifth, but I need to ask you. Who's funnier, Kevin or Chris? Stand up.
So when I came into the project, I felt like, I mean, I was a big Chris Rock fan, you know? And before we started filming, I went to one of his shows and I went to one of Kevin's shows. And I will say that it's not even who's funnier to me. It's just more like they really have different styles.
Yes.
And they do different things, you know? Because I laughed super hard seeing Chris, but I also was just marveling at how brilliant he is. And then with Kevin, I was like, dang, this dude has this whole arena in the palm of his hands. You know what I mean? Like, he really has developed to a place where, you know, he's pretty much undeniable. Like, you can't front on him.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is look around at one of his shows and see what it is. And he just has this ability to make you laugh. And he's also just a jovial type of dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like his energy is just fun and funny off top, where Chris's energy is more cerebral and like funny, like on some observation or on some, think about it this way. So
Right. Because there was a little funny part at the very beginning of the doc, was when he says, Chris, they brought him his food, and he goes, "Oh, okay, you give the brother watermelon salad." You know, he made a joke out of that. I thought that was dope. I thought that was dope. But I did like that part when they were eating. Was that your guys'? Well, obviously it was.
Yeah. So I think one of the things I wanted to try to figure out was how was I going to get them together. You know, they have different schedules.
Yes.
They're not on stage together necessarily much. And I felt like if we had them have a dinner together, that could be a nice thing that I could just keep coming back to, you know? And it was a real dinner at a real restaurant. And their conversation was just fascinating. It was fun to me. you could tell how good friends they are just by how they communicate with each other.
Yes.
You know, and I felt like, oh, that's something I hadn't really seen before, and it worked out really, really well.
Okay. How was filming Chappelle?
I mean, Chappelle was like a bucket list thing. I mean, it was cool seeing him at the shows. Like at the time, we just filmed him at the shows, and it was, you know, it was hectic backstage. It was always hectic. Every show was super hectic. And there was lots going on and lots of changes. Like we'd go in with one plan, but then things would change and we'd have to like pivot to figure something else out. When Chappelle came to the Madison Square Garden show, I think I maybe heard he was coming maybe 30 minutes before.
Oh, okay.
You know? Then I saw they had like a room with his name. I was like, oh, well, shit, he's got to be coming now if they have the room up. And when he showed up, yeah, we just captured everything that you see in the film. Like that's pretty much what we have. You know, we had some stuff with them in his green room.
Yeah.
And then we had him on stage. But then months after that, is when we got to actually interview him, get him to do a sit-down interview. And we interviewed him in his hometown in Yellow Springs, Ohio. So we got to fly to Ohio and interview him. And it was about 2 or 3 days after he had hosted Saturday Night Live. So just the energy was big and, you know, it was cool. We went, he was super, super cool. I had X amount of time with him, and we just knocked it out, you know?
Yeah. You know, it was funny because when you posted that clip on your Instagram, I sent it to my whole team, and I said, I want you guys to look at where they placed the mic. Like, that's what I was watching. It was like right above him right here. And he was like, oh, yeah, right there. Because we're always trying to find where's the best place for the mic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but that's
Well,
what I did.
and he had 2 mics. He had a lavalier
You
mic.
listening?
Lavalier mic on him, and then we had the boom mic, like, you know, over maybe a little in front of him.
Okay.
And then you just in the mix, you just sort of you can play with either or. But
Have you guys ever used the camera mics?
No.
Okay.
For interviews?
Yeah, like might have like said, okay, this one might have came out a little fuzzy. I don't know. I'm just kind of like.
Yeah, the camera mics aren't as clean as having a mic like, you know, like a dedicated mic for that specific thing, you know, like you could get away with it, you can use it, but it's not as clean. And it also depends on what's your final product. Like, are you mixing it? You know what I mean? Or are you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I would say no to the camera mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the side note, on the side note, because you worked with Chris Rock, what were your thoughts on the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock slap?
My thoughts were that it was a really, really unfortunate situation. You know what I mean? For both of them, for both of their legacies, it just was not what any of us, I think, expected, you know?
Yeah.
But as much as I say it was a problem for their legacies, I think down the line, like that's because we're like still right here and within the time frame of it.
Yes.
I think there's room and space for both of them to get beyond it, you know, and continue to do the great things that they've done to even get on our radars in the way that they are now, you know?
Yeah.
But mostly I just was sad about it, you know? It just felt like, you know, 2 black men, you know, on the world stage, associated with violence is just not at all what any of us needed. Like, I think we're already viewed as violent, you know? And so I don't think that helped. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it happened and shit happens and people go on with their lives and they move forward.
Yeah.
You know?
Then Dave Chappelle performs, and then somebody runs up on stage and is trying to whoop on him. Now, before we get to because we know Chris Rock was there. Did we ever find out what the motive of that was?
I was actually there that night too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I actually saw that show, and I think what happened was Dave was probably telling a trans joke or something like that, a couple jokes during the evening, and I think that person was upset about it, and I just couldn't believe that he made it to the stage, and he hit Dave like a middle linebacker, bro. Like I remember that. I remember I couldn't believe the speed at which he hit that stage, and I couldn't believe how far back Dave Chappelle. Like Dave Chappelle's not a little dude. That's a big dude.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and he slid back several feet. But what was amazing to me about that was that Chappelle had the presence of mind, like, to try to keep the show going while his team is chasing and trying to track that dude down. So eventually he gathers himself and he picks up the mic and he's saying some funny Dave Chappelle shit while off in the background to the side, you just see dude getting stomped out. It was the craziest thing I had seen at a live show.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it was wild.
Do you remember Chris Rock's?
Yeah, what was his joke? He said he just had a joke. I can't remember what the joke was, but it was something.
Was that Will Smith?
Oh, right.
Oh my God! I was like, so I had to bring that up because obviously you work with these guys, but do you think comedians today are walking on eggshells?
I think they have been for a couple of years.
Okay.
You know, I think everybody for a while there was just unclear about what the ground rules were now. Like, comedians have always gotten a pass. You know what I mean? They've always been able to say wild things and inappropriate things. And it's kind of what's at the heart of comedy, right? To like push all the way up to the edge. And then trying to find the edge, you sometimes cross the line. And I think that's a part of that particular art form, you know?
Yeah. Do you think a young Richard Pryor could make it in this generation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he could. Because I think ultimately it's getting back to, hey man, we're comedians and we're gonna tell these damn jokes. You know what I mean?
I hope so.
Like,
yes.
I mean, we need it to be that. That's what they do. And sometimes things aren't appropriate, but like life sometimes there's a lot more serious things that are inappropriate
Yes.
than comedians on stage, in my viewpoint.
Greatest comedian of all time.
Of all time, I would have to say Richard Pryor for me.
Same.
You know what I mean? I mean, I used to listen to those records as a kid, and he was just shocking and fresh. You know what I mean? Shocking and fresh, man, and always trying something different. He's probably my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my brothers, they had all their records. So one day they leave, and I'm just a kid, and I look, and he's doing this, Richard Pryor. I took it out, and I read it, Wino meets Dracula. All right, let's see what this say. I'm not going to say the N word, but say, you with the cape, what you doing picking in people's windows? You know, why'd you get your motherfucking teeth fixed? Man, I just died, and I was like, holy crap. And then The Exorcist. If there would have been black people in it, you know what? That movie would have been about 15 minutes long. As soon as the devil spoke, hello, goodbye.
Yeah, he has some, and his timing.
Yes.
His timing was great. His timing was really great. Yeah.
But then Eddie comes along. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, it's so funny, though. There's the movie sort of touches on the whole idea of the GOAT, and if there is one, and why. And when I think about it like that, I go, man, or when I just think about who's in our film, everyone who's in our film is super, super funny. You know, Wanda Sykes, super funny. Tiffany Haddish, super funny. Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hughley, smart and brilliant and funny. You know, Jerry Seinfeld, Bill Burr. Like, it's a lot of dope comedians.
When I saw Seinfeld, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was dope. How was it with him?
He was amazing, man. I have nothing but great things to say. I have great memories of that day. I remember I was extremely stressed out. You know, we flew to New York to get it. We found out that we could get him. We had tried to get him earlier, and I think there was just a scheduling conflict. We tried to get a bunch of people, and we went out and asked him again, and the timing worked this time. And yeah, everything just worked out. My biggest fear at the moment was of filming his interview was like trying to find the right place. And you know, we had a limited budget. You know, it's a doc, it's not a major motion picture. And I was having a hard time finding a place that I felt was worthy of Jerry Seinfeld. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had some spots and I was like, it's cool, but like, man, I don't see Jerry. Like, I'm gonna have Jerry Seinfeld walk down this hallway into this apartment. Like, it just didn't feel right, you know?
Yes.
And we found a space around Columbus Circle, and it was a lounge, and we were able to procure that, you know. And again, to the credit of Heartbeat, they gave me a little more money than we had allotted for that. But my argument was, it's Jerry Seinfeld. Like, it's one of our biggest interviews.
Yeah.
It has to be right. So we got it right, and he was just a super cool dude, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
super cool. Pulled up, spoke to everybody, and gave us just an incredible interview with so much insight and so much real talk about just what it is to be a comedian.
Okay. You know what? Now here's something that maybe somebody may want to ask, because in a little bit, we're going to open up the phone lines. If any of you guys want to call in and ask Rashidi any question pertaining to the documentary, or maybe a film that he might have done, or a video shoot, or maybe just pick his brain about, filming. My question is, let's just say, like you mentioned, the Seinfeld location had to be just right. So say, hypothetically, I'm just saying, you found the restaurant you want to shoot him at.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about getting that restaurant? Do you walk in there? Is your manager here?
Pretty much. We have producers that help to land locations like that. Like, usually there's a position called a location manager. And on this project, we didn't have one. On many docs, I guess maybe they don't have location managers on docs. Maybe that's more of a feature film or commercial thing. But our producing team would make the phone calls and tell them what we were doing, give them the hours, find out what the rates were, and we'd work it out. Or in the case of where we shot that scene with Chris and Kevin at the dinner, I think Kevin had a relationship with the owners of that restaurant or something like that.
Okay.
Like, sometimes it was that, or sometimes it was just we'd have to find a location that worked for us and pay for it.
What is one thing, I guess, out of all of this whole doc that was your favorite part of everything? Do you have a favorite part?
I cannot say that I have a favorite part of it. You mean like a scene or something like that?
Yeah, like a scene, like
feels. No, there's not a number one favorite.
Okay.
I mean, I think I just am really happy with the movie. You know what I mean? That we made. I feel like I definitely, we spoke on it earlier, but I definitely like the music that we put in, and I love the score. We had a wonderful composer named Michael Bearden, and this guy his resume is crazy. He also composed the music for Hip Hop Uncovered, but like, when I met him, I just was like, oh, this dude worked with Michael Jackson. Like, he's worked with Michael Jackson, Madonna, Lady Gaga, Whitney Houston. Like, his resume is crazy, and he's got like the musical chops and experience that I feel really fortunate to work with. But we vibed heavy, and he just really does a great job on this score. Like, to me, a good score is when it's there and it's impacting you, but you're not necessarily realizing that it's there. It's making the scene feel a certain way, but
Right.
like you're not locked into the music. You're still focused on what's being said, but underneath that, there's this music happening, and it's different than the needle drops, which are like the popular records that you know,
Right.
the Ghostface or the Tyler the Creator or whatever. Like those are referred to as needle drops. And you know what you're doing when you put a needle drop in there. Like
Exactly.
it's meant for you to know that it's there and feel it and propel the story in some way. But his score is just very seamless to me.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. So you're at the premiere. Kevin Hart. We put up the picture earlier. Chris Rock. What were their thoughts on it?
They really liked the film, obviously. I remember early on we submitted a cut and we were supposed to be done, and I thought, oh, well, this is going to be it, I guess. And Kevin liked it enough to invest more money into, you know, more interviews and more things that we felt the film needed at the time. So that was a big vote of confidence. And then I'm sorry, I forgot what the question was.
No, as far as like, how did they enjoy it?
Oh,
Chris?
how did they enjoy it? Yeah. So at the premiere, unbeknownst to me, Chris Rock is sitting in front of me. So I got to watch him watch the movie, and it was probably the highlight of my premiere experience.
You should have took a picture of the back of his head.
I wish I
watching
could
him.
have. I was dying to, because he was literally feeling all of the moments. You know what I mean? Like if it was something that was embarrassing, an embarrassing scene to him, like I could see him sort of cringe. If it was something where he, you know, was looking at like, oh, I remember like the footage of him and his mom on the couch, you know, I just remember him sort of like leaning in. I just watched him lean in, and these are like little victories for me, you know, to
Yes,
be
yes.
able to see these guys appreciate the work that we did, and we're telling their stories. And you know, it's a very delicate thing to tell someone's story, because you know you got to do it right and you want them to feel it and to like it. But I think we just hit all the right marks, man. I didn't, there wasn't like this whole bunch of feedback. It wasn't like Kevin or Chris was like, nah, take that out, and I don't like this, or don't like, none of that ever happened. It wasn't like that. It really was, I feel like I got to make the film that I wanted to make, and they were professionals, and they trusted me and the team to make it.
That's dope. That's dope. What is next? Well, first and foremost, once again, it came out yesterday, so you guys can watch it on Netflix. Anything you guys want. I truly enjoy it. I recommend it. I'm always recommending movies here. So if I see a dope movie, I'll tell them. Anything on a different note, anything that you might have seen recently that you could recommend that you might have enjoyed?
Yes. I'm glad you asked. I saw a movie. There's two movies. One is called Story Ave. It has Luis Guzman in it as one of the main characters, who's a great actor who I like to watch. Story Ave is one. And then the other one is called Past Lives. It's sort of like it's a romance, I guess.
Okay.
You know, it's not a romantic comedy, but it's definitely it's a story about this couple who were, well, they weren't a couple. They were a boy and a girl who were friends as kids. And one of them moved away to America. And, well, first she moves to Toronto, then she moves to America. And it's about them reconnecting as adults when the timing just isn't necessarily right.
Right.
And it's just a beautiful film, man. Like, those are the two films that I've seen lately that I really dug. What else did I see? Yeah, those are the two that I would highly
I will
recommend.
definitely have to check them out, because I'm still stuck on putting Blu-rays in. You know, like the other day I watched Carlito's Way, and I just admired that movie because not only is the acting and you know, the movie just great, but there was so many weird angles how they filmed it, and I saw that and I was like, holy crap, I'm gonna bite that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know?
And you won't be the first.
Yeah. So from here on now, what is Rashidi, when it comes to the end of 2023, what can we expect Rashidi to be working on 2024 and moving forward?
I'll be working on probably a lot more scripted projects.
Okay.
You know, I'm really passionate about working with actors, and that's kind of the next frontier for me.
Okay.
Like I said, the short film that I just filmed, I'm excited about that and putting that together. And I'll also be doing a few more docs. I might be doing one with the New York Times for based off an article that they have about battle rap.
Oh, wow.
And I might also be doing something with the Rolling Stones magazine that revolves around the city of Detroit. So,
Okay.
yeah, those are two things that are circling right now.
No, I'm not sure if I heard it on social media or just read it somewhere or it was just talk. But since you know Dre, I've heard him mention, and again, I'm not sure exactly where I heard it, but that he was working on or doing something with Marvin Gaye's life. Are you familiar with that at all?
That was a project that he and Alan Hughes
There you go.
were doing together. Yeah. And I'm not sure where that's at or what's happening with that.
Okay. Because to me, like, one of my favorites obviously is Marvin Gaye, but when the end of the story, what happens with his father, man, it's just fucking heartbreaking, bro.
Yeah. I mean, Marvin Gaye's story is a really, really tragic one, how it ends. But the music that he made that we still listen to today, I mean, that's like his legacy, right?
Yes.
It's like that's the part that's what we love about him and how that music makes us feel.
Yes.
And it's also fun to look at the evolution of his music, from the Motown days through his latest projects and his last projects in the early 80s.
And by the way, I still say the greatest national anthem was sang by Marvin Gaye.
Wasn't that at the Forum?
Yes.
That was at a Lakers game.
Yes.
That's right. Legendary.
And that one, bro, like I've sent it to a lot of people. I tried to post it on Instagram, and Instagram took that shit down for copyright infringement or some crap like that. But that was amazing. And then another one that I wish that they would take their time and do a great documentary on would be Roger Troutman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
another fascinating life and amazing musician.
Yes. Maybe
that's for me.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What is one thing that's probably, if there is one that's near and dear to your heart that you would like to work on?
I want to do a documentary on Sade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say this. To me, not only is she amazing through all her music, but her very first record, her very first album, Your Love is King, Smooth Operator, amazing.
From top to bottom, that whole album is solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by her just because she's got a lot of mystique, and we don't really know anything about her, and I'd love to just talk to her about the choices that she's made in terms of her music and her life, like to stay out of the public eye. And, I'm just curious about what her life is like.
Yeah.
And she's someone that is just loved across the board. You know what I mean? Like people just love her music. And it would be nice to hear from her, while she's still in a healthy state. And you know what I mean? Like, like sometimes you get the story, but it's just like way long. It's like people are in their 70s or 80s or, you know what I mean? I hope she doesn't wait until then. And I hope she sees this interview and says, that's the guy I want to direct my story, my documentary.
I'll give her a call and tell her to.
Just hit her up. Hey, y'all, if anybody got a line on Sade, link us up.
Hey, you know what? Honestly, you never know. I'm going to tell you why. Because one day I threw out a name into the universe. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm trying to interview Gil Carrillo. You may not know who Gil Carrillo is. And then some guy hits me up the next day and says, I know him. Can you connect me? Yeah. You know who that was? The guy that helped bring Richard Ramirez to justice, the Night Stalker.
Word?
I had him here. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, bro, I asked him everything in detail about catching him, bro.
Wow.
Yes, bro. And it was such a great interview.
I gotta say, I love your show, man. Like you just you give a lot of light to a variety of voices. You know what I mean? And I was super happy when I knew this film was coming out, and I knew I was gonna get to make a couple of stops, and I wanted to make sure I came by to see you, man, because I just respect what you're up to, and I love the operation and how you just been persistently putting things out, man. Episode 324 is a big number. You know what I mean?
Yes, man. Well, you know what? I greatly appreciate it because I was laying in bed and I was going through my phone, and then you pop up, Rashidi Harper, and I said to myself, "What the hell? Hello? Yeah, Tony. You know, I'm doing this and doing this, doing this. I wanted to come by," and I'm still like, "What the hell?" I'm being honest, bro. Yeah, hell yeah, let's do this, man. So it was an honor to receive that call, bro.
No, man, you're the last one we did. You know, I felt so comfortable. I felt like it was a great interview, and it was great to just sit down and chop it up with you, man. Like, this is what's up. Like, you are LA, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
And you are hip hop.
Thank you.
And so am I. And it's like, I just want to be on platforms and be in places where I'm welcomed and respected, just as a person, you know, as a brother, not just as an artist who's got this project out. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, brother. Thank you very much for that. You know what? I want to say that if somebody asks me, podcasting, what has been your highlight so far? I want to say that recently, well, maybe about a year ago, I interviewed D-Smoke, okay? And we started the whole interview talking in Spanish. And believe me, great interview. And he did a song with a Mexican legend named Vicente Fernandez. So many people, get this guy, get this guy, get this guy, get this guy. I saw Battle Cat post a picture with him, so I called Battle Cat. Battle Cat made that connection. And we started talking, and then I told him that I knew Dre back then. I said, I don't know the Dre today. I know the guy from the 80s. I don't even know if he'll even remember me, you know? And he goes, really? So we played him some of the mixtapes that we did in the 80s. Because I did maybe about 30 mixtapes were Cube, Easy, Dre, JJ Fad, Tone Loc, Young MC, DJ Quick, everybody, you know, rapped on them. And so he made a video and he said, come here, man, come here. Yo, what up, Dre? Do you remember Tony A? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what's up, Dre? Much love and respect, man. I just wanted to give you a shout out. It's been a pleasure working with you back then when we did the mixtapes. Rest in peace, Steve Yano. Steve Yano's the one that introduced me to him. And he sent it to him. And the next day, he shoots me back a screenshot of what he wrote. I do remember him. And that was it, bro.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dre's a solid dude, man.
Yeah,
you
bro.
would like the Dre of today.
I mean, to me, you know, he's just in his own lane, bro, you know, and I wouldn't, you know, he's almost like the hip hop. I just had his name on the tip of my tongue because he has a great, probably my favorite documentary when it pertains to music. The guy, God, and I don't want to call him the guy, but if I say this, I know you know who I'm talking about. He worked with Frank Sinatra. Dre starts off in his place, and that's the whole documentary.
Oh, Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones. I don't know how in the hell. I had it on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
But Quincy Jones documentary was probably my favorite music documentary. And there was one little part that stood out to me when he said this. He said, when I was a 12-year-old boy walking through the slums of Chicago, I walk into a warehouse and I see a piano and my life changed forever. I want to ask him, bro, like, okay, did you go through the window? Did you break open the door? Was the door open? And what happened when you saw the piano? Did you sit down? Did you play it? Was there somebody there? That's what I want.
Yeah.
He didn't give us that, so.
Yeah, Quincy Jones. We the beginning of that doc, I don't know, did you know this? That at the beginning of the doc when Dre and Quincy are talking to each other, that's my footage. Did you know that?
Oh, no, I didn't. Thank you for that, man.
Yeah, that's that whole opening of that film was licensed from Apple. I used to work at Apple for about 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And one of the things we did a lot of things there, but Dre had a radio show called The Pharmacy, and I was a producer on that show, and I also directed and produced all of the visuals associated with his show. And one of the things that was a highlight of my time there was being able to go to Quincy Jones's house and do that interview with Dre and Quincy and our guy Eddie
Yes.
Francis over there. So yeah, I mean, to go to Quincy Jones's house and meet him and see all of just the history in his crib and yeah, super, super great, dude. That was another bucket list.
Because that footage, and maybe you remember the dialogue. Quincy Jones is saying something. He's so humble, and Dre goes, "Man, do you even know who you are?" And I'm like, wow. To hear Dre say that, to still humble himself because he is a humble cat, but to give this man his flowers by saying, like, dude, you know. I remember one of the times, and if I ever have this conversation, I want to bring it up to Dre. And I don't know why he did this, but I'm pretty sure he did it to a lot of people. He's playing a song for me, and he stops it, and it was just me and him in the studio here in the city of Torrance, and he was working on an NWA album. And he looks at me and goes, "What do you think this song needs?" And I was like this. What the hell are you doing asking me, you know? And another time, he was doing 100 Miles and Running. Cuba had already left. That was the EP that they were working on, and he's playing it for me. And he says, "Man, I need an 808. I need a boom, boom." And he had an 808 there, a drum machine. And I was like, "You just don't want to get one from there?" He goes, "I just want to sample one." And I was like, "Okay." I said, "Well, I got a single by Cash Money." He was the guy that won the New York City Seminar Battle of the DJ's Turntable over Joe Cooley in 1987, I believe. And it was the rapper was Cash. The DJ was Cash Money, and I'm trying to remember the rapper's name, but they're from Philly. They released a song called All the Ugly People Be Quiet. And at the end of the song, boom. And I had the CD single. And I said, I have one. I can go home and get it. They used my 808 sample from that CD on 100 Miles and Running. And he sampled it right in front of me.
Wow.
Because he had asked me, "What do you think it needs?" And I said, he goes, "I want an 808. I got one."
That's what I love about Dre. He constantly says that he doesn't really care where the good idea comes from. You know what I mean? Like he's not such an egomaniac about the work that he won't listen to an idea from anywhere. He's like, wherever the idea is, he doesn't feel like it has to come from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's generous in that way also, you know?
Yeah. No, so that was where I got a lot of my musical schooling and DJing was from him. And then in early 1989, I meet DJ Quick. And I shared this story before. My manager buys me the SB1200 drum machine. I didn't really have a lot of kick, snares, percussion sounds. So I asked Dre, I said, do you think I could maybe look in your library of sounds for your SB12 that I can use, like a hat, a crash, a shake or something? He went in his back pocket and he had one damn floppy disk, true story. And I said, no, I was just wondering, like, do you have like a library? Because I had a little box. Remember back then with the little floppies? Okay. So I had my little damn box right there. And he goes, "No, I just use one." And I said, no, like your library, like your kicks. He goes, "I just use one. I used to one for Eazy-E, NWA, Michelet." And I said, so you just erase it every time? And he said, "Yeah, I just sample the snare, sample the hat, boom, 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 a cat, boom, boom, a cat." And I said, "Okay, you do that song, and then what do you do with that floppy disk?" I just delete it and start over again. He had one damn floppy disk.
Wow.
So I meet Quick now, and I'm at the studio, and I'm at the studio of Skip Sailors, and he goes, "What's up, Tom? What can I do you for?" And he was like, "I need some percussion sounds. You like that snare? Yeah. You like that crash? Yeah." He picked up his entire box, and I bought a box just like his. And he said, "Just take it and bring it back to me when you're done." His entire collection, okay? And I still have that entire collection in the other room.
So you didn't give it back?
No, I did, but I copied everything.
Okay, I was about to say. I was like, this sounds like you didn't give it back, Tony. That does not sound okay.
No, I everything, bro. I put it this way. I have his entire album and Second to None's entire album. The first two on floppies.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you got quite a collection, man.
I'm a student, brother, and I love this thing that we call hip hop, bro.
Yes.
So hip hop. I like to say hip hop. When I had B Real here, I said hip hop saved my life because it kept me off the streets. I'd rather stay home practicing and creating music than to be out here doing some crazy shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Same. You know what I mean? Same.
Alex, put the number up. We're gonna see. Maybe we could take about 3 or 4 phone calls because time is running out. So we're gonna see. Oh shoot! Let me connect with you. Okay. I'll tell you when we get a phone call, and then we'll just connect to it.
Okay.
So let's see. All right. Once again, if you guys are into filming, if you guys are into shooting videos, if you guys are into doing docs, or just want to ask a question, you know, it could pertain to photography or whatnot, or maybe just how was it, you know, filming the movie or whatnot. Call in and ask. And okay, we had one caller, we missed that one. Caller, call back. Hopefully we can get him back. Okay, well, you can ask him afterwards, unless you want to go outside and call in.
Yeah, so, go outside and call.
yeah, go. I dare you, Norbert. He would. So okay, now, yeah, let's make that funny. You know what? You got the number. We're gonna have Norbert go outside and call. Go ahead, Norbert, so we can get the lines. Because I you know what? I don't want to. I want to give everybody a fair opportunity. So once again, if you guys haven't seen the doc or maybe want to see the doc. Okay, let me see. Okay. Here we go. Call again, dude. Call again. Okay, here we go, right here. Okay, caller, your name and where are you calling from? Yes.
Hello, Tony. What's up, Mr. Rashidi?
Hey,
This
peace.
is Brad Pitbull calling from under the 10 freeway still. But I know you guys were talking about the Prince halftime show and then the Dr. Dre halftime show. But
Yes.
Texas schools are waiting for the SPM Super Bowl halftime show still.
All
still
good,
today.
bro.
But Mr. Harper, I just wanted to say that well, thanks for just pointing out the intensity, how people can interpret things differently, and how not everyone needs to go to film school. And no, that's it. Just absorbing on that, and then how you highlighted how, you know, with the Chris Tucker, the Chris Rock and the Will Smith thing, where there's already the stereotype that you know, minorities are already violent, and not to you know, keep on echoing that. But
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for making time and being on here. But just my 2 questions is how do you maintain your intensity even in times when people are not that creative or not that driven? And then the other one is what is an artist? Because you know,
Wow.
you got people that make music and people that make videos, and that's it. Those are my 2 questions, please.
I'll answer the second one first on what is an artist. I think an artist is someone that finds a way to pull out the feelings that they have inside and put it in whatever medium they choose, be it art, like painting, or maybe it's music, or for me it's what I see and what I feel, you know. So like my work, when you're watching the documentary, I want you to not only hear and understand the story, but like I want you to have feelings throughout them. And some of the feelings go from laughter to sadness to being inquisitive about something you heard. An artist is someone that can pull from what's inside and like turn it into something that someone can watch or listen to or experience in some way, shape, or form.
Cool.
And I forgot what the first question was.
The intensity, like how do you maintain it when sometimes people are not as driven, or sometimes people want to go into a different direction, or people say, nah, but take it easy, or we already got paid, or you want to settle for some sort of mediocre thing.
So the first thing I try to do is surround myself with people that are like me, that want greatness as badly as I do.
Awesome.
You know, I want someone who, when I'm feeling insecure or having doubt about what we're doing, I want someone to be like, nah, man, we on it. This is the thing. Like, let's keep going. You know, sometimes and many times I just have to be that person for myself, and I do it. But the team around me is I mean, it's like anything in life, right? You want to surround yourself with winners so that you can be a winner. And another story, just real quick. I remember one time I was working with Lionel Richie, and he said he didn't become, when he met Kenny Rogers, he said he had $1 million and Kenny had $25 million, and that he went to go work with Kenny Rogers, and then next thing you know, he had $25 million like Kenny Rogers did. And he said, Rashidi, if you're sitting at the table and nobody at the table has what it is that you want or has that $1 million, go get up and go sit at a table with people that got what you want, you know? So it was some game. He gave me some real life game right there. And maybe I didn't listen because I'm not a millionaire either, though. You know, we're still working on that part.
All good, my brother. Thank you for calling in, bro.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks, man.
Okay, we're going to take a couple of more phone calls, so let's see who's going to call in. And once again, the phone lines are open. Haven't seen the doc, or maybe, come on, bro, what are you doing? They're going to think this is staged. No, that was my AI voice. So I'm really excited about the DOC announcing that he's going to use AI to record his new album.
That's fantastic. I think it's a great idea.
Got a call right here. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Shit, I made it. Hell yeah. My name's Norby.
Well, it's good,
I'm
Norby.
from Wilmington.
All good. What's your question?
What's up? Mike, oh man, where to start? Oh my God. Okay. All right. Aside from a good story, what's more important? The lighting, the audio, or the camera?
They're all important, right? Because if you tell the story but you can't hear the person, you can't hear the story. If
that's true,
you don't have a camera, you're not visually telling the story, but you can tell a story audio wise. And if you don't have the lighting, you can still, well, here's a good thing about the cameras today. They're so sensitive to light, you know, they can almost shoot in the dark now. So maybe the lighting is not as important, but for quality and beauty and, you know, those are like things that I like and care about. I love when cinematographers can shape the light on a person's face and they just create this this sculpture almost, you know?
Wow.
So I think I think they're all important is what I'm trying to say. I don't think one is more important than the other. I think they're all tools that are needed to tell the best high quality story that you can tell.
Go ahead, Norbert. You got one more.
If you were on a low budget, this is still part B of this one. If you were on a low budget, which one would you focus more your budget
on? Camera first, audio second.
Okay. Now here's my second one. White balance is auto or manual?
Manual.
Or the manual, and why?
Because I'm a control freak, and I don't want anything automatic on the I just don't want anything automatic, you know.
Okay. Now for the audience, why does white balance matter?
Oh, white balance. Oh, you asked about white balance on the manual or audio. Oh, well, if you do manual white balance, then it's going to be right for sure. So let me back up on that. White balance is important because it helps your color, your color, what your color is gonna look like when you're filming. So if you're out of white balance, you know, your colors might have a little gray, dull type of thing going on, you know?
Yeah. Oh, all right. Cool.
All right, Norbert.
Now that okay. All right. We're gonna call it. Thank you. Appreciate for answering the question.
No doubt.
All good. Okay, we're going to take one more phone call, you guys, and it's a wrap because we're already 9 o'clock and we've been here for 2 hours. So I'm giving you guys an opportunity to call in, ask Rashidi anything you guys want pertaining to the doc, or maybe anything he's going to be working on, who he's worked with, whatever the case may be. Maybe it's a question like what Norbert just said. So I'm going to give you guys about 2-3 minutes to get one last phone call in. If not, we're just going to give our shout outs and then, you know, everything else. But other than that, here we go. We got another caller. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Tony? What's up, Rashidi? This is Rafael from the Imperial Valley.
What's good, my bro?
I kind of got like a little tag team question. Rashidi, great work. Love the stuff that you're doing. If you were to make a documentary on one sports athlete, dead or alive, who would it be? And Tony, if Rashidi would make the documentary, what soundtrack or what music artist should be on that documentary?
Okay. What sports person, dead or alive?
Dead or alive.
Athlete, dead or alive. There's this guy named, man, I don't know if that's who I'd really do, but the person who comes to mind is, there's a guy named Jack Johnson, a boxer from the early 20th century. Yeah. Probably something on Jack Johnson would be pretty cool. He's a vibrant personality and like really a rule breaker for his era.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then Tony, what music artist should be on that on that documentary?
That one's a tough one, bro. That one really, really is a tough one. I'd probably need more time because I would be honest with you, I would want to feel that documentary with the music that was going on at that era, that whole time. Because I would want to give the people the vibe. I want people to walk away with the feeling almost like, wow, I was there. Wow, that's what was going on. Wow, that was going on through the airwaves. And they walk away almost like I was there. That's what I would want.
Yeah.
Now, I think I might have only seen a short one, and I think it was 30 for 30 on one of those sports specials. But you know who's the first athlete that came to mind would be Walter Payton.
Walter Payton? Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, and that's what I would want to see.
I'd want to see that too.
Yeah.
So,
Rashid, what do you think of a music artist for the Jack Johnson documentary?
The first person who came to mind was the voice of Chuck D. You know, such a strong voice. Yeah. You know what I mean? But maybe musically do something different. You know, of the era. I don't know how you would work in Chuck D, but I'm just saying his voice is so strong, and Jack Johnson just reminds me of a strong personality, strong type dude.
Here it is. Goddamn. Yeah, I can hear that shit, bro.
That was a great question.
Cool.
Those are some great questions, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, my brother. You have a blessed night.
Thank you all. Y'all have a great.
You too, my bro. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and end it right there. Okay, well, hold on. Somebody's calling. Caller, your name or where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, Tony, this is Fred Germany from LA.
What's good?
What up?
Hey, I wanted to see if, how you doing, Rashidi?
Great.
I wanted to know, actually, did you have any, like, good moments, like, hanging out with Chris or Kevin or even Dave, like, off camera instead of, like, just interviewing them?
Yeah, off camera. Let me think of what's the most memorable. I mean, I think the best thing that I could think about is when we were filming Dave, he invited us to hang out later and come back by the spot where we interviewed him was at, which is basically he's got like a I don't know what to call it, but for lack of a better term, like a man cave is where we filmed his interview.
Yes.
And we went back there later, and he had like a DJ, like he's got like a DJ on call. You know what I mean? This dude that lives in his town or not too far from his town. and he calls this dude and he asked him to come bring his turntables and set up. So when we got back there, this dude was just finishing setting up, and he just started spinning until Dave came back through, you know?
Oh, wow.
And then Dave comes by and, you know, we hang out, we're listening to music, we're talking, you know, having some drinks and just chopping it up, man. It was a really, really fun time.
Awesome.
Really fun time.
Awesome, my brother. Any other question you may want to ask?
Yeah, Tony, I really enjoyed your story about your first DJ battle. Do you have any other like memorable moments or like a favorite DJ moment?
There's really, really a lot. I'd probably say this. We were in Houston, Texas, and it was the big Texas stadium there. And me and my boy High C from Compton, we were opening up for Chubb Rock, DAS FX. The headliner was EPMD, and there was one other group. But this was the first time that I performed in front of 14,000 people.
Wow.
And I would say this, that I had a break record, and it was, I'm going to give a shout out to Ultimate Breaks and Beats, Breakbeat Lou, for putting these together. And the song is called Impeach the President by the Honey Drippers. And it's like, so I would put the needle on the record, and the first time they turned on the speakers in the whole stadium, I went, and I heard that shit everywhere. And I was like, holy shit got real. So
that got bigger than you'd ever heard it before, I would imagine.
Bro, I go out there, you guys are on. Stadium's packed, indoors. I never get nervous, but that day I was like this, picking up the needle. Honestly. And even my boy High C was out there rapping, and I could tell he was nervous. We had a 15-minute set, but we still went out there and did it. And if I can ever get it, rest in peace to my manager, Steve Yano, he has all the footage.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's great.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
nice.
So yeah, that's it, my brother. Thank you for asking that question.
Oh yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me on the show. And also wanted to say to Rashidi, I enjoy you like on your Instagram, seeing all the behind the scenes stuff. It was really insightful to see like how you work and how you like work with your subjects in front of the camera. Whoever did that was amazing.
Yeah, you could go on Instagram and find Durf Mania, and Durf Mania is the genius behind all of this.
Awesome.
Beautiful behind the scenes.
All good.
You know.
Appreciate you, caller. Have a blessed night, caller.
I appreciate you too. You guys have a good one.
You too. Peace. All right. We're done, Rashidi.
That's it?
That's it, my brother.
Game's over?
Game's over. 2 hours, 15 minutes. Any shout outs or anything that I didn't ask you or you care to promote, go for it.
Yeah, I just want to shout out my producing partners, Obi Okoye, Tammy Dadio, and Malcolm Spellman, that helped bring this doc to life, you know. And on the Heartbeat side, I got to shout out Luke Kelly Klein and Kevin Healy and Brian Smiley and JC. We just gonna call him Big JC because I don't want to mess his last name up, but JC knows who he is. Everybody over there at Heartbeat was super, super fun and collaborative to work with. So shout out to those folks.
All good. All good. I'm going to go ahead and give my shout outs and then we're out of here. Let me give a shout out to Alex Cervantes Enterprise, who's behind the ones and twos. I want to give a shout out to Norbert News with Norbies. Let me give a shout out to my son, B. Scanless, to the Hip Hop Jedi, to my moderator, Magic Girl, and my other co-host, Marvelous Inc. Rashidi, maybe in the future, if you're still into filming videos and you give a brother a break, I have an artist that I want to shoot her music once we're done. She produces 95% of her music. We recorded, and I want to give him his credit, my boy DJ Dominator, and I'm co-producing it. So we're all doing this together. We're putting together a 7-album EP. I'm directing her first video, but I would like, if one day you sit down, listen to it, you enjoy it, maybe you can consider filming one of her videos as well. I think you will really enjoy her music.
I'd love to hear it. And
Okay.
I'd definitely love to hear anything that you do.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Other than that, Rashidi, until the next one, please include me in another interview when you knock it out the park again.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, once again, Rashidi Harper in the building. Check it out, Netflix. Kevin Hart, Chris Rock. I want to say slowly, so, and it's
Headliners only.
headliners only. Thank you. All right, we're out of here. Thank you.